stage your architect for this morning, Thomas Kirby. May I make a joke?
I don't assume all babies are boys. I assume they're angry feminists.
Like, look, I've been asking me, are you shaking during sex? And I'm like, well, that depends on how good you are, babe.
We're only gonna watch the next Spider-Man if Donald Glover's playing Peter Parker. And the other half was like, he's black, kill him!
Stand-up comedy. But performance.
Free garden.
Race, gender, sexuality, disability. Do you know what I mean?
Platform to share
Stories, develop life, challenge beliefs, comedy is morally compromising. It's a lot.
So yeah, I know what you're thinking. That's comedy. It's fine. It's just art form that speaks to a lot of people. But it's not exactly important, is it? It's not like you get the Prime Minister of the country making a joke in the Westminster in the House of Westminster.
Mr. Speaker, Bill somebody's not a person. Bill somebody's Labour's policy. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I hope that Mrs. Bone is going to treat the occasion in an appropriate manner and
As I say, joke. It's an art form, and I think it is important. But you might wonder what does this have to do with architecture? Great architects don't make jokes. It's not like Christopher Wren built columns too short so that they won't touch the ceiling because he believed his ceiling would stand up. It's not like James Stirling would build holes in the wall that deliberately look like the brickwork has been knocked out. It's not like Le Corbusier would build a giant vent over the Indian Parliament so the hot air could be released from the politicians below. This is the thing, there is architecture within comedy, and I know you're thinking, well, where's the physical stuff where this is actually going to be built? Where's the building of this? Well, right, Norris. It'll be out there. Well, not specifically on the roof of the Benzie building, but in Manchester itself. You might ask, why Manchester? Well, first of all, they say, right where you know. I know Manchester, I know the comedy scene, I know where the comics are, I've met comics, I even run a comedy night here now. I know how this works. But equally, I believe in Manchester because the thing about comedy is it's a circuit. It goes across the UK, you can spread ideas. If you start something off in Manchester, it will be spread to Edinburgh, the Fringe, and various other towns. Now, that's only the biggest comedy clubs and the biggest venues. But there's also comedy clubs in small towns across the UK. You start an idea here, it spreads. And I'm not just talking about ideas about comedy, I'm talking about ideas about architecture as well. If you can make inclusive spaces across the city, then those ideas could spread with it. And the idea is to build an inclusive comedy club. So start at the points of ingress, the train stations, Piccadilly, Oxford Road, Deansgate, and then link them up. And a bit of things I'm missing, but there would be a giant circuit on this drawing right now. So there's the idea that you create a physical circuit to match the actual circuit which is ingrained in the city, and then use that to tie up the spaces and improve them for people with disabilities and improve it in general. Now, that's very good, but how do you do this? What are the process involved? How do you make it work? Well, Steph, you've always put yourself a bit of a comedian, didn't you? Could you just come up here to represent something for me? Just put that on, just in case people don't understand. The thing is, every comedian needs an audience. Could you represent your for me, please? Thank you.
Cheers isn't a great idea.
I'm going to have fun as well. Then there's also, for this to work, you need a venue, with a venue over there. So, do you mind coming up to the front? Cheers. Wow. And just hold on to that there. So you've got a venue.
I think we're going to get involved.
Yeah. And what can happen here is that a comedian can be viewed by the audience through the venue very easily like that. And that's all well and good, except certain audiences, if you just sit down here, might be in a position where they have a bit more trouble seeing the thing. They might have circumstances not their own, so they can't see it. And then there might also be certain barriers with the venue, such as cost, maybe cost of entry, or maybe it's not got the right lift access, or maybe just the transport and infrastructure of the city isn't there, so they can't see it. And then the final thing is that actually, often the venue owner isn't the one who's doing all the supporting of the venue. It's often the comedian who has to take charge fiscally. Has to be the one who's in charge of the money and the cost of it, because they often get paid a lot less and the venue owner takes the profit, or they don't get paid at all. So how do we stop this? Well, first of all, we can help unionise the comedians with groups like the Comedians Equity Group, so that the comedians are the people owning the venue and the performers are the people owning the venue, so if I take away that. We can work with the audiences to work out how we remove these barriers, and then, sit down. And then we can move the venue and design it better so that everyone, come on, crouch down, everyone can see everyone like that. Thanks very much. You can sit down now, Steph. I want to make a joke, a big joke in which jokes can be told. Well, more specifically, I want to design a joke, build a joke in the city, a deliberately funny piece of architecture that's accessible for everyone, that allows people from different backgrounds and identities to come into a space and see performances and it be inclusive. To put it shortly, my project's a joke.